Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Starbucks. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have Jim Rosati. Jim, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yeah.
How is everything going for you?
Hopefully a lot of you have the day off and can enjoy some Steelers football later this afternoon.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Since Buffalo's so soft, they couldn't play yesterday.
Imagine having a team still in the playoffs.
I know.
Can't relate.
No, you can't. The Steelers outlasted
you a lot all year about the Steelers.
The Steelers outlasted Miami. They outlasted Dallas. Cleveland. Yeah.
See, that snow did something for you. You can now say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steeler football today. So there's something. Do you think this is going to help them in any way?
What do you mean? I think the game
today
being delayed helps Buffalo slightly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because if it would have been like crazy conditions, that levels the playing field by quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
If neither team can really do anything, then it's basically just like who can run the ball up the middle better, at the end of the day. So
Steelers have a slight advantage, maybe.
Yeah, anybody could win that game.
Yeah, so there's that, I guess. So there is NFL playoff games today. 2 now, not just 1.
That's true. Yeah, so go Steelers.
Yay. No, go Steelers. I always root for them unless they play Miami. Half the time I'll root for Miami when Miami plays. But anyways, let's talk about some Pirates. Somewhat.
Let's do it.
Not a whole lot of news. I feel like we start off every show this way. Not a lot of news. It's the Pirates.
Yeah, Pirates offseason. It's been a couple months of not a lot.
We had that week, Jim. Let's remember, we had that week.
There was the Endy injury. Oliveris. We did an emergency Oliveris podcast.
Yeah.
Perez was out the same week too, wasn't he?
Yeah. I said it was. Yeah. We had. I remember you and I talking. We had 14 shows in 12 days, like we did.
That's true. There was one big stretch where a lot of stuff did happen. But yeah, these past few weeks, it's been a lot of the Pirates are reportedly in the mix on this guy, and we haven't even really seen a whole lot of that. There's really only one free agent. Let's see, 3 free agents out there that I can think of currently the Pirates are really linked to, and that's Yariel Rodriguez, Michael A. Taylor, and Carlos Santana.
That's basically it. That all I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess Paxton's name was in the one report, looking for a mid-tier starter. So, yeah, I think maybe
that was the only time I heard that also. So that leaves me kind of skeptical on it.
Yep.
And the most recent news I heard was the Orioles were linked to him. Nothing about the Pirates.
I'm sure.
So, yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people are in on Paxton.
But I'll say this too. If we're going to talk a little bit about just offseason news and such, and I don't know whether this is comforting or maybe just more problematic, which is something we're going to talk about here shortly. But I mean, there are reports. Alex Stumpf had a piece that the Pirates have offered some multi-year deals to pitchers, right? Oh, we assume pitchers, I guess. Multi-year deals, right? And that's something we talked about. I mean, the Pirates haven't given it a multi-year free agent contract since how long, right? And what are they doing this year? They're not doing a whole lot. And again, it's reported they have given some multi-year offers, right? And I think there's a lot of buzz that they had a better offer than the Cubs on what was the name again?
Shota Imanaga.
There it is. So again, like you can look on one side and say, hey, they are trying to do something, right? It's not that they're sitting back and punting on 2024. It sounds like they're trying to do something here. And the other end, you could sit here and say, well, they've like hurt themselves. That people don't want to come here. Clearly, what's going on. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's like a mixture of the two. I mean, if they have been the high bidders on a few guys and they've lost out on them, then at the end of the day, they've no one to blame but themselves for that. I mean, they're location's always going to play a little bit of a role. Depending on the person. Like, yeah, is somebody gonna if they really like Chicago or they really like New York, are you going to take a little bit less money to play there as opposed to being in Pittsburgh? Personally, I love the city of Pittsburgh, but there are people out there who would much rather be in Chicago or New York, right? So you can't really fault the guys for that. If you want them to come here, you've got to give them a reason to come here.
Speaking of taking less money to go to a place like New York, I mean, Marcus Stroman, there's like a good example of that.
Yeah, Stroman took way less money than what you would have expected. Actually, we haven't really talked about Stroman at all. What was it? 2 years, 36 million.
36.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a lot at all. I was thinking he'd get at least a 3-year deal, and two, that the value would be well over 20 million a year. But
right,
yeah, Yankees got him at a nice little discount.
It's like you said, the fact that it was just a 2-year deal is kind of shocking. But how is he getting less money than like Giolito?
Yeah,
like
wild.
Like think about that. Like the Red Sox got Giolito for what 37 and a half, 30 and a half, something like that. 30. Oh, I guess obviously 38 and a half. Not 37. And then the Yankees, right? The rivals get Marcus Stroman for 38. And I think if you're the Red Sox, I mean, a lot of people question Giolito get that much money. Whatever, I mean, he was a good pitcher at one point. But I think the Red Sox is like, wait, how did the Yankees get Stroman for less money? Why couldn't we do that? So yeah, really shocking of how much Stroman got in this free agent market, especially this free agent market.
Yeah, no, you would have expected him to get a lot higher, and I'm sure Stroman had higher offers on the table too. But he gets to go to New York now with the stack team around him. He's not going to be like the guy there either. Like he'll be relied upon quite a bit there in that rotation, but like he doesn't need to be the ace by any means. He can kind of just be the number 2, be the number 3, whatever whatever they need him to be.
Right. You have Garrett Cole. You can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Right. Marcus Stroman signs. And like outside of that, I mean, again, we kind of joke about the Pirates, but like you look at MLB as a total, like there's not a whole lot happening either. So outside of that, that's your baseball news.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on this past week.
Oh, you know what? We didn't talk about either Jordan Hicks in the Giants. There's also one for you.
Yeah. 4 years, 44 million. Is that what it was?
Yes.
That's wild to me. I mean, I guess they are going to use him as a starting pitcher, which hasn't really worked out in the past for him much. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I was not expecting that.
I don't know where to go with that either. This pitching market is wild. It really is. Again, with Jordan Hicks I mean, I know like annual value isn't, but Jordan Hicks netted more money than Marcus Stroman in total for this contract. What? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Snow plows going outside, and the dogs are going crazy because They hear snowplow outside, but um, yeah, I can't believe Jordan Hicks got that much money. The dude's never pitched more than 77 and 2/3 innings in his career, and the Giants gave him $44 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
He started 8 career games. Like they obviously this is a starter's contract. Like this isn't a bullpen contract.
I guess like my take on it, like the think like in a positive sense is almost like the Rodriguez thing. It's like if he doesn't work out as a starter, you know he can be a good reliever. So there's
Even
like
that
the
though,
risk of him
I don't
just
think he's
not
like
being
a
anything isn't there. Like he can definitely fit somewhere. But
I
like you
guess
said, it's
that's
definitely starter money.
yeah. But like he
But
hasn't even I don't really think Jordan Hicks has proven himself to be a good reliever either. Like he's put
right,
together like
he's
a
been
decent
I would say good,
season, but
but he's not like a really good reliever.
no, like he's a guy. Like I feel like you can go out there and call up Jordan Hicks and from AAA. Every team has a Jordan Hicks just hanging around.
Mm. Well, I mean, like, that's fair. Every team has a Jordan Hicks. That's probably fair.
Yeah,
You need a few Jordan Hicks at least to make a good bullpen, and he adds to it. But yeah,
I
but
guess
anyways, I
yeah.
mean, Jordan Hicks gets a 4-year, $44 million deal. It's kind of
Crazy.
wild.
Yep.
So there, now
Yep.
that's your baseball news.
There's your baseball news.
So let's get into the more Pirates related stuff, I guess.
Okay.
Do we want to start with the good stuff or the bad stuff? Not so much bad, but negative.
Let's start with the negative stuff.
Okay. So
Let's
Jameson
end on a positive note. How about that?
I like the idea. The sandwich.
Yeah.
Not that we sandwich too much, positive in the beginning either. But
Yeah.
anyways, Jameson Taillon was on Foul Territory, a podcast this week. And of course, this is a snippet. This kind of blew up a little bit. Thanks, Ethan Fisher. But yeah, this snippet kind of blew up a little bit where he was talking about like the Pirates and such. And we will play it and kind of discuss and talk about it a little bit. So here is that snippet.
Wait, so Dean Traynor was wrong? You don't just throw the fastball inside. Jim Benedict, throw the fastball inside.
A fastball in's not a bad pitch. That's not a bad option either. A lot of the
It's
times.
a ball.
But there are, I remember on that 16 Pirates team, I remember talking to David Freese. I was talking about like intimidating guys. I was like in the minor leagues, we were taught to like, you take a big swing, I freaking throw at you. Like, you have success off me, I'm going to drop you and make you uncomfortable. David Freese was like, dude, that's such bullshit. Like, I know that to be a good big leaguer, I have to stand in the same place in the box and hunt the same pitch. Like if you throw at me, that's not uncomfortable to me. That's me like knowing I've got you where I want you. He was like, you know what's uncomfortable is Jacob DeGrom throwing 100 down and away on a Nat's ass every time. Like that's uncomfortable.
Facts. That's the stuff you were fed in the Pirates organization. You were fed this unrealistic ideology of what the big leagues is by people who didn't pitch in the big leagues.
Yep.
But hey, you had to learn.
So that was him with, of course, Eric Kratz as well, former Bucko. So
Yeah, both of
insight
them
on that also. So
Yeah,
Jim, what was your take when you first heard that?
Interesting comments there. You know what? My first take on it was I don't think Taillon's intention was to like talk ill about the Pirates. You could tell Eric Kratz was not happy
Yes.
about what happened in Pittsburgh in particular. So I think Kratz kind of started off the Pirates bashing there. Taillon chose his words a little bit more wiser. But I think my first take there is the Pirates clearly had a mandate, I guess you could call it. Like if you are pitching for us, you're going to throw fastballs inside. Like this was all during the entire Huntington years, the Clint Hurdle era. Like those pitchers pitched inside. They hit a lot of batters. Like I feel like every year they led the league in hit batsmen. We remember multiple games, especially with the Reds, where gosh, like it was just a beanball war, right? But at the same time, like I understand, you know, hitting people is bad, but pitching inside is good. Like pitching inside is effective pitching. You have to do it. And you see pitchers who refuse to do it now. Roansy Contreras, just an example here. Like you see young pitchers who just don't do it. They never really learned how to do it, and they don't go inside with their hard stuff. You see them just not perform as well. Those Pirates pitchers, they all threw inside fastballs. And, Eric Kratz is like, "It's a ball. It's a ball." Well, not all the time. Sometimes you get players to swing at him, and you saw him off, and it's weak contact, or sometimes maybe you make a hitter uncomfortable, and all of a sudden it opens up the outside corner a lot easier for
Right.
you. Like there's there are huge benefits to pitching inside, and I think Taillon kind of was disagreeing with Kratz there, because I think at one point there, Taillon even mentioned like I like throwing inside. Like
It's a
you've
good
got to
pitch.
do it. It's a good pitch to throw, even if it's off the plate. You've got to do it. Um, the whole David Freese story there, I think that's just a David Freese story. But um, I never played baseball professionally, but in high school, I wasn't very comfortable when a pitcher was throwing 90 miles an hour and throwing the ball inside. So I can't imagine you'd be very comfortable if they're throwing 98, 99 inside either. Um, that was kind of my take from it. I think, like I said, I think Taillon wanted to choose his words a lot wiser there. Kratz obviously though was let's bash on the Pirates for these next
Oh yeah,
2
he was
innings.
ready.
Yeah, he was ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like this is another opportunity for the Pirates to get dunked on, which that opportunity
Yeah.
was taken. And I agree with you with Taillon. Like, I don't think he openly just wanted to bash the Pirates, and he even said it, and like even in Twitter, like he respects the Pirates, he appreciates everything, like he roots for Pittsburgh, unless he's playing Pittsburgh, right? But I guess it just because he's not out here trying to dunk, you could tell, just hearing some things in his tone and thought behind it. Like it was like he had to go outside to really help him out. It wasn't internal. And it just seems like all the stuff you say is true, right? But it just comes off as if like that was the development. Like the
Mhm.
development was here's your two seamer, throw inside, 3 pitches
Yep.
or less. The game
Yeah.
within the game, right?
Yep.
And now it goes into the whole Hoka Hey, and they kind of talked about that, like when you guys see prospects like Alan Hansen just like looking completely defeated there. And like, I don't need to go into too much detail. I think a lot of us know about, the past, right? And it is the past. But I guess my thought is, hearing this and everything and understanding what the past was and how just stubborn the Pirates just seemed before, right? It's completely stubborn. Like, this is our way,
Mhm.
and you're going to shut up and you're going to do it. And, this new regime comes over and we talk about player centric and how, especially the pitching, Oscar Marine comes in and it's like, we're going to identify like what works for the player and we're going to bring that out. And I just kind of feel, and we've talked about this, like it's not to this level. I don't think, at least, maybe your point could be different. I don't think so, but I don't think it's to this level. But like, do you kind of feel like not whole lot has changed in this aspect? That it's still a very stubborn organization, and like you're gonna come here and you're gonna do what we tell you what's best for you, and you're gonna shut up. And to tie that into
Um,
like the free agent market and such, like is this potentially hurting free agents?
I'll say this, and Jameson Taillon mentions this on Twitter too. Like the one stark difference that I see between this regime and the last one, and maybe it's just social media taking off and all of these places kind of being more involved online, but you're seeing a lot more individuals going outside the organization for individual instruction, right?
Mhm.
And I know you and I kind of differ on this about you're saying like that's an issue sometimes, and I completely disagree. Like I don't think there's anything wrong whatsoever, and I would actually encourage that players go outside the organization. I don't need my hitting coaches and my pitching coaches to like. I don't really need them to instruct that much. I need them to just kind of tweak things here and there during the course of a season. to like unlock a little bit of potential. Yeah, the analytics stuff is gonna probably be a little bit more important than like a major league hitting coach. Trying to figure out trends, trying to figure out what you're good at, and hey, let's try to focus on that. Like I think that's probably a bigger part of success during a regular season than just like a hitting coach, because I don't
They don't
know
even have their own
exactly.
equipment.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what a major league hitting coach is supposed to do with, rotating 30 guys who all do things different over the course of a season. Like you can't just change things up majorly during a regular season anyways. Like you don't want
Sure.
people making huge adjustments while they're facing major league pitching, right? So all this stuff happens during the offseason, and you're going to need outside help for it. And I think one thing that we've seen the Pirates do now is I'm assuming they're encouraging this, but they're definitely like letting players go outside the organization, going to places like Driveline, going to places like Tread, and getting individual instructions from other people outside the organization. That's something that I don't think was looked upon as favorably the last regime. We mentioned
No.
weighted balls and long toss and stuff like that. Those are all things that it's like a player. Like if the player wants to do those things now, if that's part of that player's regimen, like they do it. I've been to minor league games, been to spring training. We see them using weighted balls to warm up. We see them using long toss as a way to get loose and ready for games. But Taillon kind of talks about that a little bit on Twitter afterwards, and kind of addresses what he says. He's saying that, just saying the success I had in Pittsburgh had nothing to do with my Navy SEALs training, right? And I
Right.
think that's fair to say, like that one particular activity was probably really stupid to do. Like it didn't need to be done, right? And he mentions like they took away his long toss, they took away his weighted balls, but they did a lot of things extremely well. They drafted and identified really good people with great work ethics and great teammates, right? So he mentioned some positive things that the Pirates do, but he also does say a big part of why I threw so well with the Pirates is because I went outside for like weight room programs, analytics, scouting reports, stuff like that. That's stuff that he went outside the organization for. And
I
who
mean, hell, Jim,
knows?
was what 2018 till they finally got a Rapsodo machine?
Who knows? I don't know.
I
But
think 18, maybe 19.
that makes sense. But I think that's just where we're at now. I think the team is at least a little bit more willing to embrace the analytics side. They're a little bit more willing to embrace outside instruction. And if you want a player centric culture, which is what they're touting that they have and what they want, then yeah, you've got to let your players do what what they think is best for their careers, but also, what you think is best as well.
Right. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I have nothing against going outside the organization to do things, right? I guess my biggest concern is the only time you ever hear of, maybe only is a little bit overboard, right? But it's like the only the only time you ever hear of something positive or it is outside the organization. Like how come Robert Stevenson goes to Tampa Bay and immediately gets turned? How come Clay Holmes goes to New York and immediately gets turned, right? And then the Pirates take on someone and or already have someone, right? And it's nothing until they go to Tread. Now here's Mitch Keller. So again, that was my biggest gripe, and we do differ a little bit on there, but I'm not opposed to people going outside the organization. I mean, different voices are helpful in like all aspects of life, right? It's just how come they don't have those voices internally also is I guess my concern with
Yeah.
that, right? Tampa Bay, Dodgers, like you see all the good teams, you see all the good people pitching. It's like you never really hear those issues with their guys. Yes, they go outside, but they also do a lot internally and such. But
You're
anyways,
right.
to get past that, yeah, I mean, I think obviously like the Navy SEALs training is the biggest part of everything, but I think that kind of trickles down to like the whole regime in a sense. It was very much of just stubbornness and our way, and it's the mentality thing, right? Just if you just think like you're a bully and just bully people, like just do that opposed to like here's what we're doing, we're gonna work on your craft to make you a good pitcher.
Mhm.
But yeah, so like now, right, like of course this whole stigma has been with the Pirates for a long time now. um and like I kind of wonder how much has actually changed especially like an outside perspective, because
Right.
again, how we start off the show, it's kind of worrisome. Like if the Pirates are actually offering multi-year deals and potentially have been the highest bidder on some, why is a pitcher taking a minor league deal with Tampa Bay opposed to taking a major league deal somewhere else? A la maybe
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, right? Why is someone taking what we thought was a relatively super cheap deal with the Cubs and maybe not a better deal with the Pirates?
Yeah, I think that's just like the if it's part of a rebuild, right? When you go through this whole rebuilding process, yeah, you may stock up on prospects, and you could say that the Pirates did a pretty good job of like acquiring talent, throughout the last
Mhm.
4 years. Who we'll find out obviously if that talent is going to produce at a major league level or not. But what it does do is it makes your major league team really, really bad for
Yeah.
a significant amount of time. And when that happens, you're going to get a reputation of just this team sucks. And the Pirates, they suck right now. Like, there's no way around it. You look at Vegas has the Pirates as like the number 26 team or something to win the World Series. So like all these power rankings are out and they're a bottom 5 team in the league right now. Pirates fans are extremely optimistic and everyone else in the world is like this team sucks, right?
Right.
So and I don't think this team's terrible. Like don't get me wrong, like this team isn't the Rockies, this team isn't the Nationals, this team isn't the A's, right? Like there are
Yeah.
teams out there that are bad. I think this Pirates team, as it's currently constructed, is like a 75, 76 win team, really similar to what we saw last year.
Right.
Agree. But at the same time, like after 4 straight years, 5 now, if you count 2019 as a down year too, 5 straight years now where this team had, nothing to do with any sort of postseason aspirations. A lot of those years they were just terrible. And if you're someone on the outside looking in, you look at that and you say, you know what? I don't want to play for this shitty team. If you're Noah Syndergaard, and I'm not saying like the Pirates should go out there and get Noah Syndergaard, but like Noah Syndergaard was comfortable enough to post online that he wasn't going to watch the shitty Pirates, right? So like
Right.
that is not just a Noah Syndergaard thing. Noah Syndergaard isn't the only person in Major League Baseball who thinks the Pirates are shitty, right?
And
Like
that was years ago too.
that-
We've
yeah.
had even more years of proving ourselves.
So I think that's the thing. Like people who like defend rebuilding, right? They're like, oh, well, when all these prospects come up and you've got a core, then you just supplement those with good free agents. Well, the problem with getting good free agents is good free agents want to go to good teams. They don't want to just be a part of a rebuild process. So until you prove that you're done rebuilding, it's going to be hard to get major leaguers to come to you. And the Pirates haven't proven that yet.
That's fair. That is fair. So yeah, I would, I would love to dig deeper with Taillon, but kind of is what it is. And the comments are out there. But yeah, I feel like what you said pretty much wrapped it up too. Kratz certainly wanted to go in. He views a lot of things quite unfavorably. And I think Taillon appreciates, still what happened in Pittsburgh, but probably wishes things could have been different.
Yeah, I mean, he mentions like, hey, maybe I wouldn't have gotten injured. If things were different, if my workout regimen was different. And we'll never know that, but that's a thought that he thinks maybe, right? And if he thinks that, then perhaps there's other people out there who think that.
Yep. So there's that. So I guess with that said, we can move on, right?
Let's do that. Before we do that, today's show is sponsored by Chris Gates Fitness. Chris is a friend of the show, and he's an online fitness coach from Pittsburgh. In addition to being a massive Pittsburgh sports fan, he works with people all over town and all over the world to build muscle, burn fat, and improve their health and fitness. In fact, Chris and I work together. I've been able to make a pretty impressive transformation so far. Lost about 40 pounds in the last year. So if I can do it, you can do it. If you're interested in jump starting your fitness journey, make sure you're on Chris's mailing list. When you sign up, you'll get a free 21-day training program, a free guide to sustainable dieting, and a free high-protein, low-calorie tailgating cookbook. With those freebies, you'll be able to figure out the best and most sustainable way to manage your diet and exercise plan. Visit chrisgatesfitness.com/newsletter to sign up. Chris also sends out free content every single week to his mailing list, whether it be new articles, YouTube videos, podcast episodes, and more. That's chrisgatesfitness.com/newsletter to sign up.
Go do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's
You know
free.
who also? Yes.
Yeah.
I say, you know who also is in getting some pretty good shape?
Who else?
Marco Gonzales. At least arm shape.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him for a little bit here. And I think it's funny because you and I, you know, we differ on the pitching stuff, right? We're definitely very similar in this. Off-season workouts, great. Who cares? Someone throwing 100, cool. Who cares? Can he control it? Right. Is he going to throw it in the game? Right. A lot of this stuff in the offseason where everyone gets hyped up for, we're kind of sitting back saying, so.
Yeah.
This is different. Marco Gonzales, there's a video posted from Driveline. I'll play it for you right now.
Come on, go. Come on. Go. Come on. Come on, go. Yeah. Woo. Yeah.
So just a little bit of clips, right? He's in Driveline. He's throwing power ball. He hits 94 once there. This makes me feel really good. This makes me feel really good, Jim. This is one of those where you see the offseason, you see this, and you go, you know what? I like this. I like this a lot. And it's not even so much for me, the fact of like where he's throwing velocity-wise or whatever. It's just the fact that he's throwing.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. I think the biggest thing with Marco Gonzales is, you know, the health of him, making sure that he's healthy and he can throw a baseball. You know, if you when you hear like someone has nerve issues in their arm, you know, that's always kind of
heard
like,
that, right, Jim?
Yeah, a little bit of a red flag there, especially after the Harleen Garcia stuff that we went through this past year. But yeah, I mean, that just shows you that, hey, you know what? If Marco Gonzales is out there throwing plyo balls 94 miles an hour, he's in relatively good health. And you hope that he kind of builds that up over the offseason. And he's ready for a full-on season. I mean, he's had multiple years now where he's been an innings eater. He's put together some pretty strong seasons over his career. Last year, obviously, not very good. Year before that, you know, pitched a ton, but again, just wasn't super effective by any means. Yeah, you hope he can get back to his like 2018, 2019, 2020 self. I don't know if we necessarily expect that to happen. If it does, great. But really, just encouraging to see him like, hey, he at least should be healthy.
I would take 2022 himself as well, by the way. Now,
I
I
would
think
take it.
you hope he goes, you know, like you're saying all those other years also, but like I would take his last year season this year at this point in time. Like if you tell me he's going to give me 158 innings, 183 innings, you know, like I will take that all day. Sign me up for Marco Gonzales at $3 million just for that alone, right? But but of course, like you want to have more of a ceiling to it. But I look at this and I'm kind of encouraged, right? Like this is to prove that he's going to be healthy and hold up. But the fact that he had nerve injury, right? And again, Pirate fans, Harleen Garcia, we know what nerve injury is. There's a guy who couldn't hold a baseball and was out for the whole year. This isn't that same situation at this point in time. Like not only can he hold and grip a baseball, but he's throwing it 94 miles an hour here. So this makes me feel a lot better about the Gonzales trade, right? I mean, I think we liked it. I mean, we did like it for what it is, right? You got him for like $3 million, the upside, everything there, it's just the injury. And seeing this, it feels like, okay, maybe the injury could get past him, right? And also because I mean, I hate to say it this way, and I'm not a doctor by any means, right? But it's nerve damage. It's not like it was Tommy John, like it's nerve damage. It seems like if he can get past that, like I wouldn't anticipate that there's like other lingering effects to it.
I'm also not a doctor.
Again,
I
so my personal story is how this makes me feel inside. I feel like there's probably not like lingering effects the same way like maybe Tommy John is, whatever. So like, yeah, if he can get past the healthy part, maybe we could see like old Marco Gonzales.
Yeah, like if he's just
So,
like
so
his,
again, like
if he's
that's
his
what makes me
normal
feel
self.
good about
Yeah.
this.
No, I don't think there's any reason to feel bad about this. I don't know if anybody should necessarily get like super excited. Oh, Marco Gonzales is at drive line throwing plyo balls 94 miles an hour. I don't know how excited I'm getting off of that information, but like you mentioned, the fact that he's throwing hard, at least suppresses any sort of thoughts that say like there's going to be a lingering issue with the nerve damage.
Yeah. Now, Jim, like take a step back here a little bit, right? And again, we know we've talked about this. We don't get excited and that worked up about offseason stuff, but also the same news, same sense. There's not a whole lot of Pirate news. There's not a whole lot to talk about. So you're okay to get excited about this. I'll say that.
I mean, it's
For
something
doom and gloom this offseason has presented, right?
Yeah.
Marco Gonzales throwing a baseball alone, I'm excited about.
It's better than Marco Gonzales not throwing a baseball alone.
There it is. I mean, perspective, Jim. Come on. I thought Jim was gonna be nicer this year.
Yeah.
Get excited.
No, that's good. Along those lines, yeah, I mean, I think Marco Gonzales has the potential to be a good starter because we've seen it happen before. It's just these past couple of years hasn't quite been the same as he was like in his mid 20s. Yeah, we'll see. If the velocity goes up, he did get a little bit of a velocity bump last year, not a ton, but it was the fastest he had thrown since 2018.
Yeah. Like I
Who
wonder how much of it
knows?
was just like it was early in the year and then he
Yeah.
got injured.
Right.
But
I don't know.
at any rate, yeah. And again, like we talked, I don't dislike Marco Gonzales on this team.
No, I think he
there's
fits
certainly
well.
some upside. It's limited, but there's some
Mhm.
upside. But just the fact that if he can throw 150 innings is going to be a very big positive, especially at $3 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with all the risks heading into this this year and such, a lot on the pitching side due to injury. And we've talked nerve, not Tommy John. I mean, there's a couple guys coming off of Tommy John that look to return to the rotation this year potentially. Marco Gonzales coming off of the season-ending nerve injury, on his throwing arm. This helps put me a little more at ease, I should say, with Marco Gonzales on the health side.
Yeah,
and again,
I agree.
outside of Mitch Keller and Perez, really, there's not too many people in this rotation that don't come with a question mark as far as health and longevity.
Yep, no, that's a good point. You at least should feel very comfortable heading into spring training that Gonzales should be fine from that standpoint.
Yeah. Cool. So there's the Taillon, there's Marco Gonzales, some of the moves that were made this offseason by other teams, not Pirates. Anything else you want to discuss or talk about?
Not right now. Let's go out there and sign Michael A. Taylor this week.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
I would welcome, sign someone.
Yeah, just anybody. Well, not just anybody. Sign somebody relatively good.
Yeah, watch what you say, Jim.
I don't want to just say.
Ben's listening. Oh wait, anybody? You good with that?
Yes.
Minor league deal.
Go out there and sign somebody relatively good for me, please.
That's
all.
All right. Well, then let's get out of here. As always, appreciate everyone for watching. We'll be back this week for some NS9 live on Wednesday and an emergency podcast or two when Ben does what Jim asked.
There we go.
So with that said, we'll get out of here. Bye-bye.
See you all.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.